Okay, in class I demonstrated how to use the RefineEdge tool, which basically was really great at making a selection on that one guy's hair. Okay, so what I'd like you to do for this week's homework is to find a high resolution picture, and I'm going to run through that process in Google, and then we're going to do the process in Photoshop, and then also take out the background and put a new background in a picture. So how about if we do this? We'll go to Google. Let's see, Google. There we go. And do a search on, I like somebody famous, so I'll just choose Sandra Bullock. There we go. And of course, I only want pictures. This might be helpful if I do this. There we go. And let's see. Now here's the thing. If you want a high resolution picture, which means lots of pixels, we need to choose this little guy over here, search tools, and then tell it what size we want. Well, it's not going to, I mean, I suppose you can choose out a size like this, but I'm just happy with going with large. There we go. And I like this picture over here, so I'm going to take a look at this, and I'll view the image. And if you want to grab the image to use it for your purposes, I'm just going to drag this here and put it on my desktop. And that's how you do it. Okay, so I will close this up. And now I've got my background over here. Now I'm going to open her file first. So I'm going to take this over to my dock and drop this on Photoshop. And here we go. So let's see. So this is part of her outfit, and I believe that is part of her outfit too. So we'll presume that kind of beigey kind of thing is her background, as part of her outfit. So let's do the process where we'll go through quick selection, and I've got my background selected. That's good. Now it's curious, why am I, there it is. It wasn't showing up for some reason. And I can grab most of her outfit. Of course, I like to go into Quick Mask and see exactly how much I've got, which is not a lot. So I'll continue on with this process. Okay, now that we're working into her hair here, and I'll grab her outfit over there. There we go, that's nice. Oops, a little too much there. I'll hit the Option key. Okay, and let's see. So I'll continue on here, getting most of her hair. And I've probably got a little bit too much there. I'm going to reduce a little bit. And okay, let's take a look at Q, Quick Mask. And nice. Okay, cool. So now I want to use RefineEdge, as we did in class. And I'm going to remove her background here, hit the letter B. Well, actually, I won't hit the letter B. I'll just tap on that. Okay, good. Now, let's see. How about we use the Refine Radius tool? And I don't understand why my brush size is not showing here. It could be because I've got a new monitor on my computer that's acting a little funky. But let's see. We're still in here, so that's great. I can only guess how big my brush is. There we go. So we'll kind of go around her edge here. See if that cleans things up. Actually, I can maybe clean that up later in Layer Mask. And I'll go around here, pick up any extra spare hairs here. And there we go. There's a little bit going over there. Nice. And a little bit over here. Looks good so far. Remember, you shouldn't use this brush all in one chunk. I mean, we can take our time. It's not that big a deal. And come across here. Cleans up most of her hair. That's nice. And I'll grab that bit there. That's not taking out what I wanted there. So hopefully that's becoming a little bit more transparent. Nice. And a little bit here, a little bit there, and a little bit there. Okay, that should be transparent enough that we can get that. Okay, so let's decontaminate colors, which gives us the new layer with layer mask. And that looks pretty nice. Unfortunately, I left a great big hole in her. Obviously, that's easy to fix. So let's go get the brush tool and paint black. So I'll hit X, or I'll just click over here. And then, oops. It would be helpful if I actually used the brush tool. There we go. Okay, nice. Her hair's a little wispy up there. That's pretty good. And I think we are ready to put a background in. So I'm going to hide Photoshop for a moment. Command Control H. And I'm going to open up the rocks and drop that onto Photoshop as well. Okay, now this file, if I hit Command Option I, this is 2560 by 1600, which I believe is significantly larger than our Sandra Bullock picture. And this is almost twice the size. That's okay. I'd rather have a lot of resolution than a little. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is break this out into separate pages here so I can see both. And I will use the Move tool and just drag this picture over here. Let's try that again. Click and drag. There we go. Now, I don't need this one any longer. Okay, obviously this is way big here. What I'm going to do is scale this down. So we'll go to my friend Free Transform, and I can't even see how big the controls are here. Oops. Let's see if I can just do this. This does the width and the height up here. So what I'm going to do is just scale this down. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. And grab this like this. And that's pretty proportional. I mean, that's the whole point of doing that lock there. It's a link there. Is just keep it proportional. I think I'm happy with that. Now, all I've got to do is put this behind her. Let's see if I finish what I'm doing, don't I? And I'll put this behind her. And there you go. And I'll hit Command 0 to fill in here. And let's see if there's anything that needs to be cleaned up. She's got a little bit of a halo going on down there. Most everything else looks pretty great. I like this. So maybe what I might do is go with my layer mask, and I'm going to zoom into her shoulder area here. And what I'm going to do is get a soft edge brush. So we'll crank this down a little bit. And then I will paint a little bit of black on here just to take the edge off here. Let's see how big this brush is. Okay, that's a little bit too much. What I like to do is actually go with a bigger brush. I'm hitting the right bracket to make my brush a little bit bigger. And then I will actually move a little bit farther away. Oh boy, now that's too much. Hang on, let me try a smaller brush. I was hoping to be subtle, but that is not going to work here. Okay, so I'll go to about 10. And just kind of gently go over that. Just because I don't want sharp edges happening here or halos going on. I'm mostly concerned about the halo. So hopefully you can see that I'm sort of removing that halo edge. Because that's really one of the dead giveaways. Anytime you see somebody do some hack work on, I'll undo that one. Anytime you see some hack work done on something you might see on Facebook or something, it's usually because the lighting gets messed up somehow. Okay, let's see how that looks big. Looks pretty smooth. Oh, and one other little detail here. What I'm going to do is take this layer and blur it so that we get kind of a depth of field kind of a feel, which is pretty neat. So let's see, I have the rocks layer selected. I will go to the filter menu and go down to my friend blur. And I go to this guy, Gaussian blur. I like this one because it has the most controls. And I'm going to put this over here so I can see this. and just crank it up. Now that's probably pretty good. You get the feel that it's a separate background. Maybe that's a little bit much. That feels nice. Obviously, if you crank this all the way, it gets ugly. So somewhere in the 2 to 3 range feels pretty comfortable. There we go. And that's the end of that tune.